Just a quick video I wanted to make here. I wanted to probably share some misinformation. At least I'm sure the internet people will say some misinformation. But my opinion on Trump's birthright citizenship executive order and what I think his intentions are. I've heard people say it's unconstitutional. I've heard people say that he has some type of 4D chess move that he's preparing. I don't think it's any of those things. I think it's a very basic, simple attempt to set a new legal precedent. I think that, when we look at the legal precedent we have regarding the 14th Amendment, a lot of it is over 100 years old, and there have been laws passed since then. But I think you could very easily read the interpretation and legal precedent from the case of 1898 from Ark versus, I believe, the United States, where he left the country, returned. He was a natural-born citizen of the United States, born to Chinese immigrant parents. He returned to the United States after vacationing back to visit his family in China and was denied entry. He sued and won the case. And if you read the opinion of the case, the justice's opinion was that his parents at the time of his birth had legal residence and domicile in the United States. So essentially their argument is, in that case, or the opinion in that case, is that they were in fact here legally and did legally reside in the United States, which qualified him for the application of the 14th Amendment as a U.S. citizen. Where I think that's changed, at least in my opinion, and I'm just a dumb guy in the woods, is that I don't think you can make that argument for people that have entered the country illegally. I don't think, if you use the precedent of that case, that those people have legal domicile in the United States, domicile being a legal term, that it's where you legally reside. Those people aren't legally residing here. They may be here, but they are essentially foreign invaders. They definitely don't have legal domicile here. So, I'm interested to see how this plays out. I know it's going to get to the Supreme Court probably rapidly, and I'd be interested to see what the Trump administration's argument is and the counter arguments. I mean, obviously, we've got an entrenched faction of people that are very intentionally wanting to maintain mass immigration here and legal citizenship. Last year, we had 250,000 children of illegal immigrants born in this country that are now American citizens. And obviously that needs to change. It's not an issue of discrimination or racism or xenophobia or anything like that. It's really simply is this abuse of the law. It's a completely irrational practice, and if we don't end it, then we really, the sovereignty of this nation exists no longer, and the identity of this nation exists no longer. No, I'm not talking about white people like me. I'm talking about the idea of American ideals, our long-standing traditions and practices of liberty and freedom. The more of these people we import to this country that don't share those ideals and aren't willing to assimilate, the less our country looks like the United States of America. And as some cracker in the woods, what that means to me is that every American that has their birthright stolen from them by mass immigration or disenfranchisement by illegal voting and all these other mechanisms of the left, those people, they lose what's owed to them. I'm a white person, that my ancestors immigrated here 150, 175 years ago with mass immigration. Most black Americans have more birthright to this country than I do. I understand that, and what I wish they would understand, instead of voting for the Democrats that are hell-bent on black genocide, I wish they would understand that they are giving away their birthrights too. Some of them have woken up. That's why black males voted overwhelmingly for Trump in this election. But hopefully more of them wake up and reality sets in that the Democrats aren't their friends, and that they have an agenda for mass immigration. It's to take the birthright away from everybody that lives here. And every nation should have their own sovereign borders and their own people as an identity, not as a race, but as a people. We have ideals in America that were given to me through past generations, well before my people were in this country. And those ideals are something we need to carry on and practice. It's what makes our country great and strong. And we shouldn't be ashamed of those, and we definitely shouldn't be willing to lose those to be politically correct. So just my thoughts. I hope the Trump administration takes this out and makes a good argument for it in court. I'm hoping that the case obviously resolves in ending of mass birthright citizenship to people, children of illegal immigrants. The abuse of the system is just crazy. The fact that anybody defends it, I just don't know when, half the country became so anti-American. We lost our identity and started to hate our own country. I've seen these protesters, they're, protesting in the streets with flags from other countries. Man, I've been here long enough, born, my family was born here, for generations. I don't have any other identity. I mean, I know where my people came from, but we came here to be Americans. We didn't come here to be something else Americans. So hopefully the Republic endures, and hopefully Trump wins this in court. All we can do is make the argument. The country is as good as it will be according to our laws, and if this argument falls apart, I don't think there's any chance of us ever making a constitutional amendment happen. I don't think it'll ever happen in America again. I think the country's too divided to get 3/4 of the states to ratify an amendment. So I'm thinking this is the last stand for the Republic before we turn into who knows what. I mean, you only need so many people to oppose your way of life to infiltrate your country before they can change the laws themselves. You look at that today, you can see that we've got these couple of nutcases in the United States Congress. Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and both of these people are basically living in an area and are elected because their people migrated into this country legally, majorly, and they, instead of assimilating and spreading out, they built their own community of people that look just like them, and the place they live in they made like home, which the Irish, the Italians, the Germans, the Chinese, there's Chinatown for a reason. People do that, but they came here, but they didn't assimilate and adopt our ideals. And so we've got these radical people that are anti-American sitting in our Congress with ideals that aren't American. And the reason they came into power is because they moved enough people into one area to take over a congressional district. And now, you look at Minneapolis, they're broadcasting the Muslim call to prayer there. And I don't have any problem with Muslims, but when you think about a town in America being overrun by a group of people to the extent that they can completely change the demographics of one area, and by doing that change the values, opinions, and to some extent the law, that's a scary idea. And just imagine that same thing in 100 districts across the United States. Imagine that. You move in, take the example of Springfield, Ohio. You move in 30,000 migrants to one area. That's a huge voting block. Once those people are there, let's say they're there, for 2 years with temporary protective status, and let's say that 25% of them have children while they're there in that 2 years. Well, guess what? They're Americans now. Hopefully they love our country, and if they don't, guess what? It doesn't matter, because they now have a voting block that cannot be changed. They're going to outvote the city council and have everything the way they want it within a generation. And that's how America falls. And they know that. That's why they want this. So hopefully Trump wins this. Hopefully he's got some bright and intelligent attorneys. And they come in to the Supreme Court and make a case and an argument. We've got an originalist court now. We've got a lot of good justices that want to interpret the Constitution in the manner in which it was written. And they'll look at things like, why was Why was the 14th Amendment written? Well, it was obviously written to give citizenship to freed blacks and their children, not to anybody that walked into our country or flew in on a plane 2 days before they're ready to give birth, have a baby, and then fly home, have an American citizen. I'm sorry, not a baby, an American citizen. And it's abuse, obviously. So hopefully it gets wrangled in. Hopefully Donnie's got a good plan and a good legal team, and the future will be bright. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble, guys. Enjoy the sunshine when you do get it. Enjoy the rain when you get that too. Out of season, you want both. Take care.